everybody and welcome. So I'm going to just start with a little bit of a massage here with my patient sitting over the chair on the chair like this, so leaning on the table. This is just a nice way to kind of open up the shoulders and the neck area, and you can do this through clothing. You could do it without if you want. Sometimes it's nice just to start to loosen things up through clothing. So yeah, you can start off just with your hand in the lower back like this, and just doing some nice circles to warm possibly your hands up and their back up a little bit. And just follow these circles up each side of the back. So I'm starting on the right hand side, using just the sole of my hand here, mainly to press in and just do little circles the whole way up and around in between the shoulder blades. And then when you get to the top of the back, maybe just squeezing tops of the shoulders. This is usually an area that feels tense, so using your hands, like it's almost like dough, and you're just kneading, you're grasping these big muscles at the top of the shoulders here and releasing them, almost like pinching but not sore, like that, grabbing and releasing. And then use your hands, sort of like this part of your hand, thumb and first finger, to massage. Again, you're kind of just picking up the skin and releasing it from the base of the neck up to the top of the neck. Ideally, when you're doing massage, slower is better because the person can really switch off and relax. If you're moving around too quickly, it kind of is a bit of a distraction, and their person can spend the whole time thinking about what you're doing rather than just really switching off and relaxing. So the other side of this back now, so if you bring your hand back down, the lower back can get tight and sore for people, and heat is a nice thing for it. This is the kidney area down here at the base of the lower back, and it does like heat. So just doing your circles and then using the palm of your hand just to massage up the left side of the back. So your hand should be getting nice and warm now. Just using the heat to try and soften those muscles, big circles with the palm of your hand. Like so. There's really no right and wrong reason with massage. When you're working on someone, you might even just see areas which look tight or rounded, or areas that you might feel like you want to spend a little bit of time at. So just go ahead with it. Just some basics. It's also nice to work down the arms a little bit when you're here as well. It can be a bit tickly, but sometimes tight underneath here. Sometimes, well, this area is obviously armpits, but sometimes some muscles, when they're tight, they do feel tickly to the person. So if somebody's like, oh, that's very tickly on me, it could be just as tight. So down the arms, if you had oil here, you could just massage the oil in like so. If you're not using oil, again, it's sort of like grabbing, you're trying to like pull the muscle away from the bone. And it's kind of easier, you've got the triceps at the back of the arm here, just working down to the point of the elbow, and then in the inside of the arm, the bicep here. So again, back to the neck and the shoulders, maybe using your thumbs to massage between the shoulders. So we'll do another lap just with doing circles. This chair is not really ideal. If you had a stool with the chair, even this at the front, it might be a little bit easier. So using your thumbs, just making little circles. I kind of think of them as little rainbows from the spine out and round. So right down here at the lower back, particularly if the person has got aches and pains in the lower back. And when you're sticking your thumbs in, you'll feel little grooves where your thumbs will sort of slide into. Naturally, the body is covered with these, and these can be natural little pressure points. So right down here, you've got you're at the top of the pelvis. There's lots of little holes along the tops of the pelvis where your hands can slide into. So working along the top here, then as you go a little bit higher, you're starting to get into that kidney area, which is a little bit more fleshy. And you can spend longer here if the person likes, or if you know, sometimes nice if you put a bit of heat on here beforehand. If they have, say they have lower back problems, you could put like a hot water bottle here for a minute or two while you're working up here, which would be a nice, feel very soothing for the person. Heat is nice, especially during the winter months. I use hot stones quite often as well, which you could just use in the palms of your hands for this as well, and just the same as with massage, but with the 2 stones on each hand. So I'm sort of starting to do some circles and then press in as I go up the spine now. So working up the lower back, circling into these muscles that can be quite tight on either side of the spine, and then pressing in. And you can use your breath when you're doing the pressure points, sort of breathe in and then breathe out and push a little bit further in. Breathe in, maybe release the pressure a little bit, breathe out and press in, and then move on. So you can also tie your movement in with their breath. So as they breathe in, you'll feel their back expand. Just breathe in for me. And then as they breathe out, you're pressing in. Just ask them to breathe if you can't feel it. It is really good. Quite often when you get a massage therapist will say, breathe into where I'm working, because it helps release the tension from the inside out. So breathe into the spot here, breathe out, pressing in and massaging around. Good, breathe in. And you can always get feedback. If they say, oh, that's a good spot there, then you might want to do that spot a couple of times. Because I have just a short video, I'm just going to keep going right up the back. So between the shoulder blades, breathe in, so lift the pressure, and then breathe out and sink down in. Now you want to try and make sure you're not just pushing from your shoulders. When you're adding pressure, it should really be coming from your center. So try to relax your shoulders. This gets a bit complicated, a bit more advanced massage technique, but ideally you're not using your shoulders. Inhale and breathe out. Easier done on the floor rather than sitting or standing. Your shoulders get involved. Good. And then up to the top of the neck, just again grasping and releasing. Maybe just work down this arm. We didn't do this one yet, so if you're doing, make sure you do obviously both sides equally, grasping and releasing. You can do like the bicep muscle separately, that's the inside, and then the outside of the arm. If you're applying oil, you'd rub that oil into the arm like so. And then finishing up with the pressure points up the neck. So top of the neck, you'll feel a big vertebra sticking out here. You start with that one, breathe in and breathe out, press. And breathe in, breathe out, press. Keep going, breathing in. Nice and slow. Breathe out. Good. And you'll finish up with the fingers coming right up into the hairline. Now don't worry if you find that I'm flying along with these pressure points, just take your time. There is no rush. The slower is actually the better, and everyone's backs are different lengths. Sometimes it will take longer to work through the back than, or shorter depending on the individual. I'm just pressing in now along those pressure points at the top of the neck, pressing and releasing. It's also quite nice just to work into the scalp a little bit too, so just using the tops of the fingers. Okay, like this, massaging around like this. And then just using the fingertips and tapping like so, and then maybe just finishing as you go down the back like this, like chopping, a little bit of chopping. Can be quite a nice way to finish. Maybe just doing some brushing down like this. Okay, so hopefully got a few ideas here for some